last 10. Carr tips it in, and it's Waller. He spins into the end zone for the touchdown. Watching greatness on one end in LeBron. There's a dude with 35 in white getting it done defensively and then offense taking over the fight. Mama, there goes that man.
They have shared a brilliant championship battle, but the championship can only be won by one, and it's going Dutch in 2021. Max Verstappen, for the first time ever, is champion of the world.
I think there's just a curse going on about us not winning a Thanksgiving game. Because we haven't won the last, 5 games or so?
Last 5 Thanksgiving games?
Yeah, I do believe so. I saw that.
But I don't know. I don't know what happened in that game. I mean, Sam Laporta still had a really good game, the tight end. Jared Goff was still pretty decent, but it was just turnovers, man. I mean, it happens, but...
We had a few guys out, I think, that definitely did not help us and caused a lot of just us giving them the ball.
And I don't know how you did it, but you made Jordan Love look like a star.
I know, right? Like, that's what fucking hurts the most. Making that prick. Well, I shouldn't even call him a prick.
You don't know this man.
I don't know the man, but he's a shitty football player, and I made him look like Tom Brady.
You sure did.
Well, we did. I didn't.
Well, folks, welcome back to the Waterboy Experience. I am your host, the Waterboy himself, Davis McLemore. And boy, what a long episode we have this week, because we got to catch up on a lot of stuff, because unfortunately we took a week off for Thanksgiving. It was not on purpose. It was by mistake. But anyway, here to help me catch up on all that we missed is my good friend, the CEO and CFO of Nye Productions, the Red Bull chugging son of a gun, Mr. Jason Shaddix. Jason, how are you, and how was your Thanksgiving? Boy, you're going to hate yourself in editing.
Oh, I know, right? I opened that can and I'm like, do I really want to do this now with the editing? No. It was a fun Thanksgiving week. Like you said, we didn't think we were going to take the week off, but you got sick. Surprisingly, it was only a 24-hour bug. Huh.
Yeah, I don't know what was going on. I had to miss work and all that.
Well, you always miss work.
Oh, yeah, always. But let's talk about what we missed in the NFL. Not much. I'm kidding. Yeah, we did miss a lot. On Thanksgiving Day, as you could probably tell from our conversation, the Detroit Lions played the Green Bay Packers, and they suffered defeat. And you know what? I don't really know what to say. It caught me off guard when I looked up from my turkey and my stuffing and I saw the score.
Your dry turkey and
my
your dry
turkey and my dry stuffing. And if you, some sort of sorry excuse for cranberry sauce, and I just saw that the Lions were losing to the Packers, and I was like, what?
You know why I didn't feel so bad about it? I was eating tacos.
Oh, yeah.
Homemade tacos. Not the American shit. The proper thing. And the defeat was going down well with the tacos.
You know me, I'm very American, and I think we should Americanize a lot of things. But there's one thing I want to de-Americanize, and that's Thanksgiving/Christmas cuisine. I want to have tacos. I am one of those people that is fully supportive of eating Chinese food for Christmas dinner. I think that that's beautiful.
Because it's the only place open.
It's the only place open. But it's wonderful.
The problem with Chinese food is you eat a couple bites and then you feel like your stomach is ready to explode because you ate too much. And then 20 minutes later in a visit to the can, you're like, I'm fucking starving.
Oh, yeah. It goes right through you, and then you don't feel like it was ever there. But anyway, also, Jack Harlow, for halftime in that game, performed in an igloo for whatever reason. I don't know what was going on there.
Oh, I saw that.
Are you a big Jack Harlow fan?
Not at all.
Okay, good. Neither am I.
Did you see that the Dallas Cowboys took a piece from their museum?
Their museum?
Yeah. They brought a cheerleader from back when they won their last Super Bowl.
Oh my gosh.
I shouldn't talk nasty about her. She's a nice woman. She does a lot of things for children.
She's probably very nice.
But Dolly Parton, what's her name? Parton. Yeah. I had it right the first time.
Yeah.
What?
You ever been to Dollywood?
No.
Oh, yeah. That's what it's named after.
I remember going to a girl's trailer. Her name was Dolly, but it wasn't Dollywood, I'll tell you that much.
She didn't have any wood. That's why she called you over.
Exactly.
But anyway, let's move on with the breaking. Let's just go straight into the breaking news that broke yesterday morning.
Oh, yeah. McLaren has now partnered with Monster Energy to bring us a competition to Red Bull Racing.
Well, that was this morning. I'm talking about yesterday morning.
Oh, CM Punk is back.
CM Punk is back. That's still not what I was trying to get to, but we do have to mention that CM Punk returned at Survivor Series War Games. It was awesome. You didn't even watch it. I was watching it live. It was one of like.
Well, I thought about watching it, but then you sent me the clip of Io Sky jumping off the cage wearing a trash can.
Oh yeah, that.
Which if you don't
stupid.
watch wrestling, this is why you don't watch. But what was the big announcement that you wanted to say yesterday?
Yesterday.
Oh no, that happened yet.
Oh, that happened? Oh, I was going to talk about how Frank Reich was fired as the Panthers head coach.
Who?
Frank Reich.
Who?
The Carolina Panthers head coach. You know who I'm talking about.
Wait, when was there ever a team called the Carolina Panthers?
Oh, shut up. But yes, he was fired, relieved of his duties. He was politely asked to get out. And apparently...
Well, he was mostly escorted out because the people wanted to kill him. All 5 people who are fans of the Carolina Panthers and who live in Carolina.
And rumors have it that there are sources that were outside of that room when he was getting fired. And apparently...
Josh McDaniels?
No.
He was looking for a job, wasn't he?
No. He's not getting that one. Apparently, Frank Reich exclaimed, "Fuck," when he got fired. Which I think is kind of funny, but you don't hear that a lot. But why wouldn't you?
Was it followed by "fuck" again?
Because, as you were probably getting to, it happened last season too when he got fired from the Colts. So, what a stand-up head coach there.
A first for the NFL.
Oh yeah, first time ever someone has been fired back-to-back seasons. He can't hold on to a job.
How the hell are you hired after you failed? And you know who replaced him? Jeff Saturday, the guy who only victory came at defeating the Lions. The Lions.
No, not the
Raiders.
He didn't beat the Lions.
He beat the Raiders.
I'll remember that day as long as I remember.
Mostly because I bring it up every time I can.
Mostly.
Going back to what you were saying earlier, we did miss a lot. Vegas happened.
Vegas happened.
Boy, oh boy, it was actually a good race, believe it or not.
Yeah.
Everything else about that race was the drizzling shit.
That's what it looked like. Is like the theatrics, the big show, the gimmick on top of the whole race and everything. It seems like too much. And
it was too much. There was at this point, and it's funny because it always happens to Checo, which, by the way, Checo got P4. He lost P3. No, he lost P2. He got P3, but he lost P2. This announcer guy, I think it's the guy that went, "Let's get ready, Rumble."
Bruce Buffer.
Yeah, I think that's him. He goes, "Sergio Checo Perez." And Checo's like looking around. And he's like, "Hey." And he goes to stand next to the guy because he thinks he's going to ask him a question or something like that. And the guy just walks off on him. And he's just looking around. It's like, what the fuck? What the hell is going on here?
He didn't know what to do. It's okay.
But yeah, it just, everything was such a shit show. Thursday, because that's when they had the first free practice.
The pothole, the manhole.
The manhole. Okay, so you're supposed to weld that shit down. But what happened was Carlos Sainz goes through it, and it just completely destroys the underfloor. It destroys the engine. It destroys the transmission. and the session was red flagged for like 2 extra hours. And when it resumed, it was like 2 in the morning. No, it was like 2 in the morning, something like that. And during free practice, everybody stays till the second free practice ends, and that's when they go home. Well, at 1:30 in the morning, they said, hey, anybody who's left at the stands, you're not allowed to stay for free practice 2 because it's too late in the evening. Well, in the night. So go home. You're not allowed. And people were pissed. And Formula One said, hey, even though you spent a couple $100s on this, we'll give you a $100 voucher for Formula One merchandise.
That's insane.
It is
mental.
It is, especially because in order to buy Formula One merchandise at the Formula One stand, you need to have a ticket to get inside. And if you only bought a ticket for free practice, you're kind of fucked.
Oh, yeah.
So it was just a bunch of fuck ups all around, and Carlos took a penalty because they had to change the engine, the transmission, so that sucked. But the race was good. Max only won by 2 seconds between him and Charles Leclerc. So it was actually a pretty good race. We saw a lot of action. We saw Lando just completely lose control of the car and smash into the wall. That was nice. And yeah, that was pretty much how it went. It was a good race. Max won.
Of course, he always does.
And then they went to Abu Dhabi because apparently they didn't take a week off. No, they did Vegas to Abu Dhabi in a week, which is insane. And next year they're doing a triple header because they're going to Qatar or Saudi Arabia, one of those two. And then they're going to go Vegas, Qatar, Abu Dhabi. So it's going to be 3 weeks in a row, which is great for us, bad for them. Because think about it. When it was like the middle of the day for us, it was the middle of the night for them because they got to be up.
Oh, yeah.
And they're coming back from the UK. So they're only like 4 hours ahead. So their sleep schedule is completely fucked up. And it's just a fucking mess. And I'm like, who thought of this idea? Like, really? But while on the topic of it, let's talk about Abu Dhabi, the grand finale.
And it was grand indeed.
Max Verstappen won.
Yeah.
Charles Leclerc got P2, but they lost P2 in the Constructors' Championship to Mercedes. And you know why? And I put the blame just on this. Carlos Sainz, he crashed again in free practice too. This time there was no pothole, nothing.
Was that it?
He just dropped the car, hit the wall, and they had to replace something. He had to start at the back of the grid, which is okay. Here's the problem, though. They put him on the hard tires for the majority of the race. They did 2 pit stops. The first one, they went from hard tires to hard tires. And people were like, okay. And then they didn't pit until 3 laps before the race ended because they were hoping for a safety car. It's literally like, why, Ferrari? Why?
Hoping for a safety car.
At one point, Martin Brundle said, even if there's a safety car, if Carlos comes back to the grid, or like when Carlos pits and comes back to the field and all that, he's gonna drop down to P15, almost even P20. Like it makes no sense. Pit him now and put him on softs, and they pitted him, and he didn't get a point. And you know how much they lost to Mercedes? 3 points. 3 fucking points. Which he could have had if they went hard tires, mediums, and then go on the softs early. But they didn't.
Nope. They didn't. There's a reason why we have usually a segment called Ferrari Fucks Ferrari.
They're getting close to 20 years without a world championship.
Wow.
2007. 2007 was the last time. Kimi Räikkönen. 2027 is not that far away.
No.
3 years.
What's going to happen this offseason? Because there was the whole thing about burnouts when Charles wanted to do burnouts and they said no, and you could hear it in his voice. He said, not even this. And he was just heartbroken.
Well,
what's going to happen?
There are rumors going around that Ferrari's trying to lock him down into a contract a year before his contract is really up. They're trying to extend him early on. I don't think Charles Leclerc is going to stay with Ferrari any longer.
He shouldn't.
I think he's going to complete his contract and he's going to go to Aston Martin.
Oh. You think we'll see Fernando retire and he goes to Aston Martin, or are they going to drop Lance Stroll?
I hope they'll drop Lance Stroll. The son of a bitch ain't good for nothing.
Well, then you've also got the Audi Sauber.
Yeah, but they're at the back of the field.
Still,
I have no faith in Audi.
start out with one of your first
Look,
travels.
there's a reason why Red Bull said no to Porsche and Audi, because they didn't believe in them. There's even rumors going around that Porsche is going to pull the deal on trying to get into Formula One.
And just kind of give up.
Yeah.
They've been trying for the past couple of years.
No. Here's the thing. They got accepted. That's the thing. They're like, if you guys want to buy a team or you want to join a team, that's perfectly fine with all the people on the Formula One grid, even the teams. But Red Bull said no. Williams said, we're not selling you the team. And there's rumors that Toyota wants to get back into Formula One and are looking into partnering up with McLaren.
Oh.
And then the big news was General Motors announced that they are going to officially create a power unit for Andretti Motors that'll be ready by 2028. So we have Ferrari, Red Bull Racing, Powertrain / Ford, because they're teaming up with Ford to do the electrical engine. We have Mercedes-Benz, we have Renault, and now we have Cadillac. We have 5 engine manufacturers.
Is that a lot?
Yeah, that's a lot. Not the most we've ever seen, but that's a lot.
Dang.
Because for the most part, it's been Honda, Ferrari, Mercedes, and Renault. And Renault is a piece of shit.
Yeah. Renault is, you can tell who's a Renault.
Apparently, some people did the math. Renault is down 20 horsepower compared to the rest of the engines. And the rest of the engines are separated by 1 or 2 horsepower. So
Red Bull probably being the strongest.
I think it's actually Mercedes. No, Ferrari, because their engines are good. It's just...
Their strategy is shit.
And so is their reliability. Remember last year?
They're just not very reliable.
But, I don't know. It's just... the Formula One season has been kind of boring this year. And maybe we'll see some action next year.
I'm really pulling for McLaren next year.
I'm pulling for Aston Martin.
Aston Martin will get you in the beginning of the year and then they'll fade off. But I'm really looking at McLaren to see if they can be contenders next year.
Next week we're gonna talk about we're gonna rank down the teams who did good, who did bad. We're gonna give them a rating. But I'm telling you this: if there's one team who I don't see them making it to 2030 or hell even 2026, is Haas.
Yeah, unfortunately.
They are the biggest pieces of dog shit I've ever seen.
Williams does better than you.
Alpha Tauri did better than you.
Alpha Tauri.
Which they're going to be rebranded to something else. People are saying they're going to be called Racing Bulls.
Racing Bulls? So you'll have Red Bull Racing and Racing Bulls.
Well, they're waiting to announce the sponsor. So it's supposed to be like Alfa Romeo Sauber, which, by the way, this was the last time that we were ever going to see Alfa Romeo on a Sauber. They're going to Haas next year, which means we're definitely never going to see them on TV.
But it's not like Haas.
No, it's just going to be a sponsorship name. It's like the Waterboy presented to you by Venom Energy Drink.
Right, but Haas, the actual Formula One team, is out.
No, they're just going to name it. Right now they're called a Haas... MoneyGram Haas F1 Formula One team. And it's going to be called Alfa Romeo Haas MoneyGram F1 team or something like that.
What?
I don't know how they're going to do the naming.
Pick something. I think just Alfa Romeo is a good name. Beautiful. Alfa Romeo.
But that's pretty much all the Formula One stuff that I wanted to talk about for today, because we got to do some football, because we kind of read off topic.
We really did.
I derailed this train. I was like, no, I'm going to get my shit in first. Fuck you, Davis. So give us a recap of what happened, the important bits of NFL, and yeah, take it away, Maestro.
Well, before I get into that, let me just say here earlier today, the college football playoffs were released. Guess who was number one?
Michigan.
No, close.
Georgia?
Georgia, number one. Guess who was number two?
Alabama.
No,
Not Alabama.
not Alabama. Let me give you a hint. Alabama's not in it this year.
In the playoffs?
Nope.
How?
They just aren't.
How?
They are at number 8.
How?
And we're in, are we, somebody confirm this for me. Are we doing a 6-team playoff? Because there's 6 fucking teams listed here. No, I don't think they're doing a 6-team playoff. At number 2, Michigan.
How?
Will you let me finish?
How?
At number 3, Washington.
How?
At number 4, Florida State. Number 5, Oregon. Number 6, Ohio State.
That just seems random.
I mean, it's the 4 undefeated teams left in the country. But listen, if you put...
I thought Alabama was undefeated.
No, if you'll remember, Alabama lost to Texas earlier this year.
Oh, that's right.
Way early in the year. And at number 7 and number 8 is Texas and Alabama. But look, if you put Florida State against, let's see who's down here. You put Florida State against Penn State, they're losing. You put Florida State against LSU, they're losing. You put Florida State against Alabama, they're losing. I mean, they haven't had any competition this year whatsoever. And everybody's going to be like, oh, well, they're in the ACC. No, the ACC is non-existent. They're not competitive anymore because Clemson's not good anymore.
Wait a minute. Remind me of this. Ohio is in the playoffs, but didn't Michigan just beat Ohio? Or was that a different...
Yes. Ohio State is still in.
How?
I don't know.
No.
Okay, wait.
I'm just...
Wait, so let me make it clear.
Hold on a goddamn second.
They're not. Ohio State is not in. They're on the outside looking in, and they could get in.
Okay.
But because we still have the conference championships coming up, where we're going to have the SEC championship game is going to be Georgia and Alabama. Now, if Alabama beats Georgia, obviously Alabama's in. And if the Big Ten matchup is going to be, I believe it's going to be Michigan versus Ohio State. I don't really know how the Big Ten is divided up, but obviously the winner of that game would decide who would get in, even though we just had that game previously. So,
look, I'm just understanding NFL, which I thought I had a grasp on, but college doesn't make sense to me. It's just random.
It's
like NASCAR.
It's a madhouse.
Yeah, NASCAR.
And, these are supposedly the best 4 teams in the country, right? They're supposed to be.
Yeah.
I guarantee you, when...
Wait a minute. I just realized LSU didn't even make it in.
Oh, no. LSU really didn't have that good of a year. LSU finished 9-3.
That's not bad.
It's not bad, but you look at everybody else ahead of them, Oklahoma 10-2, Mississippi 10-2, Penn State 10-2, Alabama 11-1, Texas, Ohio State, Oregon 11-1, and then the top 4 are all 12-0. So,
college just does not make sense to me.
We'll get you into college football eventually. But
baby steps.
My big thing is with this college football playoff is number 1, Georgia, number 2, Michigan. Okay. Georgia versus Michigan would be a good game. It would be fucking great.
Are they playing in Georgia or are they playing in Michigan? Because if they're playing in Michigan,
that's a good question.
And if Michigan wins, we're going to see a repeat of the Ohio game.
Because Georgia is ranked number 1. Well, the college football playoff is always in Atlanta. The college football championship is always in Atlanta. So it's basically a home game for Georgia. So that would help them out. But what I'm saying is Michigan plays Florida State.
Michigan's going to win.
Or Michigan plays Washington. Michigan's going to win. Georgia would beat the piss out of either one of those guys.
It just seems so random. Like, you see Washington, you see Florida, and like, what do you say is their equivalent in the NFL? The Colts and what, the Ravens?
Let's say if you had the Chiefs and the Eagles were the top two teams in the NFL.
Which
They are. And then right under them, you had the Pittsburgh Steelers and...
Which, by the way, they fired their offensive coordinator.
They did. Thank you. Get out, Matt Canada. You suck.
Did you see that they were chanting, fuck Canada, fuck Canada? Yeah. I said that to our friend Wahid. He lives up in Canada. He's like, what did we do?
No, it's not you. It's the other Canada.
But it's you.
But it's like Kansas City and Philadelphia being ranked number 1 and 2, and then 3 and 4 right behind them is the Pittsburgh Steelers and the Seattle Seahawks. Not really
I think
good teams. It's just, they're just there. They're just there because they haven't had any competition whatsoever.
It sounds more like the Lions.
Actually, now that I'm thinking about it, yeah.
But I mean, we did beat the Chiefs, so...
You did beat the Chiefs.
Yeah. It just seems so random. And with the whole Michigan, like, cheating scandal, one thing that I sent you was Bill Burr was talking about it, and what Billy Bitchkit said was, everybody does it, but Michigan did something to piss everybody off. So they're like, hey, Michigan's doing this. And then he's like, well, everybody else in college does it.
I also see it as they were the ones dumb enough to get caught. But that's just my thing.
I don't know. It's just college just does not seem like it's a solid foundation. It just seems so random.
It's not.
It's definitely has a lot of favoritism in it. Because you see all these like colleges, like the big teams get the TV spots, and then you got the little teams, and they don't get any coverage at all.
None. You don't even know those games are happening.
Dude, we live right next to USM. I don't know when those fucking games are going on until I see all those cars, and I'm like, where are all these cars coming from?
Where are all these people going? And then you're like, oh, it must be a football game today. I'm playing something. But no, the financial structure of the NCAA is very crazy.
You mean rigged?
Rigged. The playoff structure is very just confusing. It's too simple. And I have been a major preacher about you need to have a playoff system just like the NFL, to where you have 8 teams on both sides. You pick the top 18, you get your Sweet 16 teams, you split them into 2 different halves. 1, 3, 5, 7, 9, and so on and so forth, or whatever. And then you have the tournament that way. First 2 teams get a first round bye. But no, it's just the top 4 teams. But I think if you opened up the grid to more teams, one, you're playing more football games in the season. That's more money for you. That's more time you're on television. That's more money for the NCAA.
And also, fans will love that.
Fans will love that. It's just more college football. And 3, we get a better idea of who is actually the best team in college football.
In Formula One back in the 90s, when it was a lot cheaper to run a team, they had up to like 24, 26 teams.
Yeah.
No, wait, like 15, 16 teams, because there are 10 teams right now. So the maximum cars you could have on the grid was like 24 or 26. And there was this thing called like a qualifying percentage. This is how off the leader you had to be in order to be considered able to participate in the race. And there are some teams in Formula One that until the day they started, until the day they shut down, they never competed in a Formula One race because they couldn't keep up with the big machinery. So I think something like that has to be implemented where it's like, okay, if you have to be this good and we're giving you kind of like wiggle room for you to get to this point where you're allowed to be in the NCAA. Other than that, you're outlaw.
Well, what might be going on is something like you're saying is eventually they're going to lean towards just making one big super conference.
Or just do what the NFL does.
Of the best teams around the country. And then put them all in one conference, and then that's how you do it, which I'm all in favor for.
I just think it's bullshit, their system. I think just the entire thing was bullshit.
It is. But anyway, I didn't really have any other NFL news to talk about.
What about the Chiefs losing, what was it, 3 games in a row?
The Chiefs lost 3 games in a row, and then they broke their losing streak to us.
I forgot about that.
We were beating them 14-0, and then all of a sudden the bottom fell out. And
Well, it wasn't the bottom. It was one specific player.
Yeah, Marcus Peters fell out the bottom, and then that was it. So
And he got fired.
Yeah, he's fired. He's out.
38 years old.
I heard that they wouldn't specify who, but there was some Raiders player on defense that showed up to the game drunk. Now, everyone is speculating that it's Marcus Peters, and we have not been told otherwise that it wasn't Marcus Peters. So I think Marcus Peters showed up to that game drunk. He couldn't fucking play.
Why did they allow him to get into the field drunk?
It's the Raiders.
Yeah, but we're not talking about Lawrence Taylor, who can do a pound of cocaine and then completely annihilate the competition.
It's the Raiders. You're in Las Vegas. What are they going to think?
The coke is
You act like everyone else.
The coke is afterwards, though.
After the game.
And only if we win.
I don't know.
Or McDaniels is fired.
But I don't know. It could have not been him.
I mean, Max was out. No, Max was allowed.
Max is hurt.
Max was allowed to play, and then people were like, "Why is Max allowed to play?"
Because he's hurt.
Yeah, he was hurt, but did he play?
Yeah, he played anyway. He wasn't drunk.
No. How long did he last in the game, or did they allow him?
He
to
played
play?
the full game.
Shit.
He toughed it out, but he's not going to play next game.
Which possibly puts him at a risk for a
and the
higher
whole thing-
injury.
Right. Well, and I think that's what happened is now he's actually really hurt.
And he's probably going to be out for the rest of the season.
And the only reason he did that was because it was the Chiefs. He wanted to play against the Chiefs.
You got next year, bud.
I know, but he just wanted to sack Patrick Mahomes, and he did.
Yeah, and you still lost. So.
Oh yeah, we still lost, but it is what it is. We're already looking on to next year. We know what we need at this point, so it's not that big.
You've been saying that since 2001.
We know what we need. Oh, guess who is the number 1 team in the AFC?
I have no idea.
As it stands, the playoff picture today, as we're recording,
November 28th.
November 28th. The number 1 team, the number 1 seed in the AFC is the Jacksonville Jaguars.
I guess Tony Khan is doing something right.
He's doing something
Oh, wait,
right.
we got to talk about CM Punk.
We'll talk about CM Punk.
No, come on.
We'll talk about CM Punk in a minute, but I just want to say Jacksonville Jaguars are number 1. They are fucking rolling. I don't know what's going on.
Mega return.
Mega has nothing to do with the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Yes, she's actually involved with the legal proceedings.
Well, whatever Mega does, keep doing it. We got to talk about it. Yeah.
And Kennedy.
So CM Punk is back.
I did not think it would happen.
I didn't think it would happen either.
Everybody kept on saying CM Punk's going to come back to Survivor Series. And I thought the same thing that I thought in 2014, was it, when he left?
He's never coming back?
I thought, well, this is the same thing where every year they say, CM Punk's going to return to the Royal Rumble. Yeah, I've heard that for like 8 years in a row, bud.
And then he went to AEW. I was watching in that moment when he debuted in AEW in 2020 or 2021. And I, like, right up until I heard that, I was like, he's not coming out. That's it.
And the people were ready. The people were ready to set the seats on fire if he didn't show up.
But I don't think they popped as loud this time because they weren't ready for it.
No, they were ready for it. The problem is
nobody was waiting. Like everybody had kind of like sat down at that point. You could see some people were starting to leave, all that different kind of stuff, and then and then everybody like was like, "What's going on?"
And then Seth Franklin Rollins had his little tantrum.
It's a work.
It's a work.
It's a work. For those of you that don't know, it's real. I'm kidding. It's a work. this is leading into something. Now, do they actually hate each other, Seth Franklin Rollins and CM Punk? Probably. But they, unlike some other people in the wrestling business, can conduct themselves in a professional manner, and they'll get business done.
I did love his promo from last night on Monday Night Raw where he goes, I hate to say it because it's very much true, but I'm home. I'm like, you fucking hypocrite. You said you would never return.
You fucking hypocrite, but you hit me in my heartstrings. We're also burying the other lead here, which it wasn't a big surprise because people knew it was happening anyway. But Randy Orton made his return, and boy, is he fucking jacked.
He's on the gas.
On the juice, on the sauce, on the gas. Sprinkle some cheese on that motherfucker. He is big.
What I find hilarious is, why did he take forever to get back into like the pod for the War Games thing? It's like, why was he late?
Maybe he was just,
his wife.
Chicago
his
traffic.
wife was sitting front row.
Well, maybe he learned a valuable lesson to always ride with your wife. Always ride your wife to the show. I kid.
Don't tempt Randy. He'll do it.
But yeah, I mean, Randy Orton coming back, it was, it was a pretty good War Games match. It was all
Everybody
right.
knew it was going to be Randy.
Everybody knew it was going to be Randy. Everybody knew that Cody Rhodes' team was going to win, and they did, and it happened. It was the events following that caught everyone off guard, and they were exciting, and it was cool. So overall, it was a I don't want to say substandard show. It was a pretty decent Survivor Series. Substandard, decent Survivor Series. So, but anyway, do you got anything else to say?
Yeah, I do have to say, CM Punk left the WWE and he absolutely hated them and they hated him. And it was the biggest fallout I wouldn't say the biggest, but it's definitely up there in the top 3 biggest fallout of wrestling history.
Don't forget Flair and WCW.
No, even worse than Flair.
Worse than Flair and WCW, but
but where I'm getting at is it was such a big fallout, yet it took an impeccable idiot, an impeccable buffoon to somehow fuck up with CM Punk so badly that he amended the relationship between WWE and CM Punk. They hated each other so badly, but then he pissed both of them off so badly that they said, hey, you want to do this again? Hell yeah. Tony Khan, ladies and gentlemen.
He brings people together. He repairs lost relationships, man.
Tony Khan, he's a magical worker.
He repaired the relationship between
No, here's the thing you don't realize.
alcohol and Ric Flair, CM Punk and WWE. I mean, Jeff Hardy and drunk driving.
But you forget kind of like the biggest thing, though.
What's that?
He repaired a relationship I didn't think was ever going to be repaired.
And it is.
No, not CM Punk.
Who?
He made Jim Cornette love watching WWE.
Unfortunately.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's been enjoying it. He used to say,
I have too. I don't know what to say. Because there's stars, there's talent, there's actual.
It's like he said 2 years ago. There was no stars 2 years ago. Now there's stars everywhere in WWE.
Oh yeah.
Meanwhile, if you go to AEW, who do you have? MJF, who's hurt and who's probably heading to WWE, especially since CM Punk is there. CM Punk's going to be like, Max, get your ass over here. We got $2 million a year for you. Plus, you get to be the biggest dick in the company on the spot.
Go.
Meanwhile, AEW
Bring
has
Wardlow with you.
AEW has Edge, who goes by Adam Copeland now.
Who, you talk about that return, that has not paid off at all.
He's going out to empty arenas, and we're not even joking. Like where the hard cameras at, where the camera is at that points at the ring. If like the pictures you see online, there's nobody there.
It's just dead. Bryan Danielson wants to have these matches against people that nobody really knows who they are.
They signed Ostrich.
Will Ospreay, yeah.
Ostrich.
Who nobody really knows who he is. So I'm like...
And it's like, no, everybody knows who he is. No, anybody who is just an absolute fanatic of wrestling knows who he is. But the 2 million people watching SmackDown every Friday night, they don't know who the fucking Ostrich is.
And they don't care.
No, they don't.
They don't give a fuck.
And I'm just thinking, really, Kenny Omega, the Young Bucks, they gave up WWE, the opportunity to wrestle in WWE for that?
Well, yeah, because, it doesn't matter how many people are watching. They get to do whatever they want. So...
Well, some people shouldn't be allowed to do whatever they want, just like us. So
just like us, we really shouldn't be able to. We really shouldn't be allowed to do a podcast, ladies and gentlemen.
The stuff we said 2 weeks ago, well, 3 weeks ago.
What did we say 3 weeks ago?
About the...
Oh, God. You can't bring that back up.
I just brought it up. Don't worry. I'm going to bleep it. But anyway, we've run long this week. And next week, we'll be back. And you know what it'll be? It would have been my birthday.
Hey, birthday episode. We'll be throwing you a special celebration.
We're going to get drunk and we're going to do lots of blow.
Oh, this is going to be a fun episode.
Sign us off, white boy.
Thank you guys for listening to this episode of the Waterboy Experience. You can follow us on Twitter. Because I'm not calling...
Formerly X. No. X, formerly Twitter.
X, formerly Twitter.
See, you said you weren't gonna say it. I made you say it.
Hey, X's are X's for a reason. Also on TikTok at the Waterboy Pod. Content coming very soon.
Why don't we have a Threads account?
I don't know.
Threads even a thing anymore?
Threads is still a thing, but it's like...
No, it's not a thing.
It's like obsolete. I have the app.
I have the app too.
I don't get on it.
I got on it the day it came out.
It's just a bad Twitter.
It has nothing.
Nothing's there.
Anyway, what's the TikTok?
At the Waterboy Pod. That's both the Twitter and the TikTok. Anyways, thank you guys for this episode of the Waterboy Experience, and peace.
Second and goal just outside the 10. Hart tips it in, and it's Waller. He spins into the end zone for the touchdown.